I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all out of your ruts. And today is Thursday. It's the day of Thor. So, as Thor tells us to break out of those ruts, to move forward, and to go out and, conquer. Eat, sleep, conquer, repeat, just like the old Brock Lesnar t-shirt says. I hope that's what we're doing. I hope we've pulled ourselves up, dusted ourselves off, wiped the blood from our faces, and now feels like it's time to look at them and go, you should have finished me when you had the chance, there, bud. To whatever was bringing you down. I hope that you've taken care of yourself. I hope that you were able to take care of others. You cannot take care of others if you haven't taken care of yourself. And I hope that you are rejecting every mainstream lie that is coming your way, no matter what it is. I've told you, folks, the illusion is crumbling. The matrix is glitching. And one day, right now, you see a mad scramble to just keep it all afloat, no matter what side it is. I say reject both. Become ungovernable. Let them know you only have two middle fingers, so they all have to share. I hope you're doing that, because it would be in your best interest to do it. Alright, so this is not going to be a full reading for some obvious reasons, which will become obvious in just a moment, but we do still have a guide. We do still have, actually we have our significator and guide. We will also have our spirit animal, which is always in play. Naturally, it's going to be Viking Oracle, Spirit Animal Oracle. Today I picked Radiant Rider-Waite as our tarot deck because, well, to be quite honest with you, it just made a lot of sense. We really need a lot of light in our lives, and we also have the Sacred Light Oracle and the Lightworkers Oracle because it's really time to look at how are we doing in that area. Some of us aren't doing so well, I'm just going to be honest with you. Some of us are kind of lost in the self-pity and the self-doubt and, looking for greener pastures somewhere. And the fact is, you might have a greener pasture right where you are. You never know. I say give it a shot. But we are going to be looking into past, present, and future. We're going to be trying to see where we've been, where we are, and where we're going, most importantly. And we're going to do the same for these cards here, the Sacred Light. We're going to see how that coincides. Maybe we'll get a little illumination along the way, don't you think? We're going to have some runes, as we always do. And finally, on either side of the cloth, still within the circle, we're going to see what is passing away, meaning what we should have learned from the past, and what will be beginning for us, what is coming in, so now that we can prepare for incoming lessons that will be learned, hopefully, but only if you're looking for them. Only if you're seeking those opportunities and you know what you're looking for and you're ready to seize upon them. This is about knowing what you're worth, people. It really is. And if you find yourself being treated poorly somewhere, maybe, just maybe, it's time to maybe it is time to seek out those greener pastures. You just never know. If you find that too many promises are being broken, perhaps it's time to move on. But the question that I asked the cards was, how do we do that? What do we need to know in order to effectively move on? And so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. So, who are we? Some things do need to end for others to begin. We are at the end of those things, and this can seem rather devastating. Remember that in Norse lore here, Ragnarok is the end of all things, or so it would seem. But in the story there is also a renewal. There's the re-emergence of the two that will repopulate humanity. Balder returns because there's no one guarding Hell's Realm anymore, and she's gone, and hey, if you don't have a gatekeeper, there's no one to really keep anyone from getting out of your gate, you know what I mean? Many of the gods die in the conflagration, both good and bad. And then the cycle starts all over again. Do you see what I'm saying? Everything is cyclical, so how are we being guided through it? We really need to be at peace with ourselves. Taking care of yourself is just that. It's being at peace with yourself. And I'm going to say this, you cannot be at peace with yourself if you're, or you can't be at peace with anyone else if you're not at peace with yourself. And if you're constantly always on the warpath, guess what? That's not a situation any person needs to be in. Because constant warfare will drive people insane. And if you're constantly at war against something, guess what? You're not at peace with yourself at all. And people will see that, and no one will be getting past that. I'm just letting you know. That's just how it is. In nature, we can look to the buffalo spirit. And it tells us that the abundant universe will provide. I'm actually seeing some leaps of faith here, and you're going to have to take some calculated risk. There's just no two ways about it, but if you're at peace with yourself, you could take those risks. You could be like, I'm not worried about that. I don't have that to worry about. That is not what concerns me. And you can go and do your thing regardless. Remember when I said roundly reject both sides, because it's what they are, they're sides, nothing more. Both have a narrative, both maybe have a kernel of fact somewhere in there, and then they surround it with a bunch of bullshit aimed at controlling you. Are you in control of you? Because if you are, then you're at peace with yourself. And you can look at this person or that person and go, no, and walk away. They can call you any name they want. But in the end, they have absolutely zero control over you. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what you need. You need to just have that, how can I put this? You're all out of fucks to give here, ladies and gentlemen. Time to walk away from it. Puritans are going to be Puritans no matter what side they decide to follow. You are not sheep. Let's put it that way. So, past, we have a Queen of Swords. We have an Eight of Wands in reverse, and we got a Queen of Cups in reverse. So, let's start with the Queen of Swords here, because in your past, this is cutting through layers of bullshit. And this can become very, very tiring. Now, the thing about cutting through the layers of bullshit is that is an arduous task, and if you're faced with having to constantly do it, or you find yourself constantly in the face of it, well, that's not going to be very good for you. But you know what? We move into that Eight of Wands in reverse, and right now we can see there's a bit of a sting here. This wasn't the good problem to have. This is a lot of internal resentment. I do see the stings of conscience coming up, where you know what you did was wrong, and you just want to erase it, and you want to hide from it. You really want to escape it, but I hate to tell you that right now you're getting getting a bit of warning. But in the context of all of this, if you found yourself deceived and you weren't cutting through the layers of bullshit, you're going to end up in a situation you really don't want. So this is the warning. Please, you're gonna have to learn, fall back on your past where you're cutting through the layers of bullshit, and you will see someone is lying to you, or someone will be lying to you, And you will know how to go, let me stop you right there. Let me just stop you right there for a moment, okay? Don't start. Don't lie to me. I already know that is full of crap. Stop it. I will not have my intelligence insulted, and I will not have it insulted by you. Do you understand? Before you go any further, if you want to continue with the lying, I'm done with you. The conversation's over. I'm going out this way without you. If you value my presence, my ability, whatever, you will start by telling me the truth today, starting 10 minutes ago. Do you understand? With that being said, I will now return the floor back over to you. And you know exactly what's going to happen if you continue lying to me. And there are dozens of videos on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, that you can actually go to. You can pull up. You can find out when someone's lying to you. Dozens of little tricks that people employ. Like, one of them, for example, you know what? If someone were to tell you, if someone were to lie to you, you know, like if you had to lie to someone, how would you frame that up? You know, if someone were to kind of promise you one thing and then go back on their word, how would you deal with that? And if they would go easy on them, they're the ones lying to you. Believe that. Happens every time. If they're the ones that will say, yeah, I would never trust that person again, I would cut them out of my life, that's not going to be a person that's going to lie to you, because they're not going to want that. Let's have a look at the sacred light and see what's going on here. We have galactic vibration. We have universal Merkaba. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And we have violet fire. So let's have a look at these cards. In your past, we have personal convictions. This is raising your resilience. This is a direct channel. Anything illuminated will be absolutely true. It will be absolutely prevalent. You can, as long as your light's working, you can be that. You can expose that. You can put it out there. This is how you do it. Stick to your personal convictions. Do not let them go. Do not compromise them for any reason. The next is going to be this universal Merkaba, which this is your sacred purpose. You already have the answer, and if you're getting very lucid dreams, especially lately, they may be signs that something's coming and you may want to watch out for it. Remember, if you are that light, if you embody the truth that can be stood on, can be sat on, can be solid as this table that I'm touching right now, solid as this cup holding my tea, then there's nothing anyone else can do. I mean, sure, they could do some things, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's not gonna, their victory is going to be short and hollow, if they have a victory at all, and there's a chance they have to take. Finally, the violet fire. This is going to be, I'm looking at the detoxification part of this, but transmutation, detoxification, psychic vision, constant distraction. If you are constantly distracting yourself, then, ladies and gentlemen, you're not facing things. You got to be able to face these problems head on. And so far, that's what the reading has borne out, is the ability to look at someone and go, okay, whoa, let me stop you right there. Before you go on any further, let me just say, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, I think you should know before we go any further, this is what I will not put up with. And you state that firmly and assertively and go, okay, sorry to have interrupted, please continue. You state what those consequences are. And if you feel like you're being lied to, you'd be like, let me ask you something. If the roles were reversed right now, and you knew, like it's just some little thing, you knew I was lying to you, what would you do? No, I just want to know. You know, put that in front of them. I'm telling you right now, somebody is either lying to you or will be lying to you, and they're dangerous. They're very dangerous. Keep that in mind as well. Keep your approach tactful. So let's look at the runes. We've got Tivaz, Sowolo, and Isa. So I knew struggle was going to come up in here. Starting with this is about victory and justice. Actually, a little less victory, a little more justice. This is where that nice even balance comes out. You have to be that balance. You have to be that light. Presently in Sowolo, the sun. That is what it represents. It represents light. It also represents a very big force behind it, because there is. You would not believe how forceful Sowolo can be. That's why it's shaped like lightning, but here you are. Right now, you're actually on the right path, but you may need to leave others behind to reach your goal. You've already experienced the dark times, but right now, your future's looking pretty bright. And also, you know, the thing is, you have to consider whether or not you're being true to yourself. So are you living according to the standards of others rather than your own? Do you take full advantage of your own inherent gifts? Are you hiding your light under a basket? Are you putting a mask on to hide your truest self, lest it be seen and damaged further? So how closely, and the thing that this rune asks is, how closely are you living to your own convictions? Right? Let me ask you something. If some of you were to suddenly shed your ideologies in favor of something else, and I'm not saying the exact opposite of them, I'm just saying if you looked at your own mindset right now and went, you know what, that is a little extreme. Maybe I should point out that this is only the way I feel. I don't think it represents a whole. And maybe I've been unfair here. Maybe I should talk about that. If you've thought about that and then it ends with, but what will my friends think? You live in a prison of your own making. Now, here's the thing. Don't allow others to control you or your time. And guess what? Things are probably going to progress very, very, very slowly right now. Because it's ice, it's a blockage, it's right there in front of you. But this is going to be the time for you to slow down a little bit, trust your process, and hang back. Now, what has passed on, the thing that you should have learned from the beginning, comes from this. Honestly, even though I'm not Christian, I do like this card, and I'll tell you exactly why in just a moment. Because this is that inner light. In my opinion, this is that inner light that's really going to come forth. Your actions are going to be very self-evident, and they should be. Because if it's not self-evident, then you're virtue signaling. And there's nothing good about that. But you need to elevate your own vibration toward the frequency of limitless supply and unconditional love. You do have it. Remember, Buffalo Spirit tells you that the abundance of the universe will provide. So, you have to get past the pain and self-defeating behaviors. Those no longer have a place in your heart. This process takes lifetimes to complete, but as you proceed, you actually start receiving a lot of blessings to support your journey and fulfill your soul purpose in serving what you do. There will also be tests, and these give people the spirit of a chance to develop mastery of yourself. Remember what I said, are you controlling yourself or are others controlling you? Are you living closer to your truest self or not? And what's coming? I don't think I really need to explain this card. There's a quote that went around. It said, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to look around and know that deep inside your soul something is not right. Now, let's take that into consideration into our personal lives. Let's stop looking at government or anything else for a moment. You have to be able to look around, objectively observe it, and then be able to discern whether or not something is right. It's not right if it goes against everything you believe. It's not right if it asks you to compromise yourself, your convictions, your beliefs, while no one else does the same. I experienced such a while back, and I since walked away from it. No hard feelings. It's not for me. Now you need to make that decision for yourself. How do you deal with that? I know how I'm going to deal with it, but it has to be a decision. It has to be a decision you make. I can't make that for you. There's the catch. I can only give you the information. You make up your own damn mind what you do with it. So, I hope you got something out of this reading. I hope that this will propel you forward into the next week. Tonight, I will be recording an interview with Patty from Patty's Parlor Games. I've been mentioning him on my podcast, and I will be interviewing him tonight. It will be pre-recorded. It will not be a live thing. Saturday, we'll do the live thing again. So I hope to see you there. I hope to see you there for both of them. It's really time to consult with your spirit, ladies and gentlemen. It's really time to kind of get with that. Because if you've been ignoring it for far too long, guess what? That's why you're having all the trouble. That small, still part of you that resonates every time something really lights you up. That part that goes dark every time something just tries to put you in a box and label it, and then sub-label it, and then sub-label that to the subatomic level. Time to get out of that box. Time to shed the labels. Time to say, nope, none of that is me. Maybe aspects of me, but that's not totally me. Time to wake up to your higher purpose. It's time to start serving it in whatever way you can, and refuse to back down. Alright, so that's everything. Just remember, everyone, I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. And as always, you know exactly what to do. No matter what anyone else tells you. Break free and shine on. You know, a little thought occurred to me while I was cleaning up. And that was, you want to know how a person, want to know how to tell when a person's lying about what they claim to believe? It's very simple. It's extremely hard to put them on the back foot. And how you test that's very simple. If you're asking them to explain something, you let them explain. If they can back it up with fact, especially if that fact's irrefutable, you know that what they believe is actually pretty solid. You're not really going to have a real bitch of a time trying to unseat that. But it does so without resorting to insults, mudslinging, and that sort of thing. And if you're the one who is secure in what you believe and what you know to be true and what you can feel in your bones and what you can prove, then same applies. But if you find someone's always trying to put you on the back foot, guarantee you they're not secure enough in what they believe. Not at all. They're just looking for a gotcha. And guess what? You don't have to play that game. So I wanted to put that out there. Especially if they're just dismissive. They just, no, that's just X, Y, and Z. Well, then they're not interested in the conversation. They're interested in being right. And you don't have to waste your time with them. So, wanted to kind of give you that. It was just some little something or other that was right there in the back of my mind, and I was like, you know what, they need to know this. So I put it out there for you. Hope it helps. Me, I'm going to get cleaned up here, and then I'll go hit the morning shower. By the way, I don't know if you've been paying attention to my social media, mainly my Twitter, but I've been posting my little fitness walks there. I hope you've been catching them. Hope it's motivated you to do the same, because like I said, I want to keep you around. Rather like having you. By the way, Mother's Day is coming up, so if you want to get Mom a gift, a suggestion would be get her some readings. Anything $35 and under, we'll get her 2 readings and a birthday reading. And anything over that, we'll get her 4 readings and a birthday reading, for a total of 5. Let me put it to you this way, people. I'm undercutting Stormy Daniels, who charges $200 for a reading. Let that sink in. In fact, I think I'm undercutting most people, but you know what? If that's not something you're interested in doing, I totally understand. It's fine. Maybe just direct Mom over to the free readings. Maybe she'll get something out of that. And to all of you out there, if I don't see some of you before then, happy Mother's Day. Alright, take care. Love you. Shine on.